lights low, camera on me, wave crash in the background. Welcome to the story, stay wavy with the jab TV, with the hook, every round heavy now. Better take a good look, ring bell, gloves up, hear the bass get loud. We make the canvas shake.
Y'all. Let's talk about the reason why people felt like Brian Norman Jr. was going to beat Devin Haney. Not just beat him, they thought he was going to knock him out, right? Now, going into this fight, when you look at Devin Haney's last performance against Jose Ramirez, it was probably the most boring, lackluster performance of Devin Haney's career, right? This is a fight that I personally felt like Devin Haney was going to completely dominate Jose Ramirez, walk him down, and possibly stop him, just because Jose Ramirez is not the fighter that he used to be. Ever since Jose Ramirez lost to Josh Taylor, it's like Josh Taylor took his soul, right? So Devin Haney for 12 rounds was running around the ring, not really throwing too many punches, you know what I'm saying? He ends up winning the fight by unanimous decision, but in a very disgusting way, right? And I'm a Devin Haney fan saying I got to hold my fighter accountable. You dig what I'm saying? Now, Brian Norman Jr., right? We all wanted to see Brian Norman Jr. versus Boots, but Brian Norman Jr. decided to turn down the Boots fight and fight Jin Sasaki in Japan because he was going to get paid more. So Brian Norman Jr. goes to Japan, fights Jin Sasaki, and gets what many people are calling the knockout of the year, right? After he knocked this dude out, this dude forgot his name, forgot where he lived at. He forgot what his shoe size was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I heard Jin Sasaki didn't even remember what McDonald's was, my nigga, you know what I'm saying? So it was a great stoppage, and a lot of people felt like Brian Norman Jr. was going to do the same thing to Devin Haney. Now, from the moment that this fight was announced, and I kept asking the Brian Norman Jr. fans the same thing, who has Brian Norman Jr. fought? You keep talking about the Jin Sasaki fight. You keep talking about the Giovanni Santillan fight. Those guys are not elite boxers, okay? They're mid-level boxers. They're not good boxers. Like, when you look at Devin Haney's resume, it's way better, not even close, it's way better than Brian Norman Jr.'s resume. And people kept telling me that resumes don't win fights. And that may be true, but resumes says a lot about a boxer because it shows the experience and it shows the levels, right? And when you look at these two boxers' resumes, bro, it was very clear that Devin Haney is at a much higher level than Brian Norman Jr. But let's look at things for what it is, right? When you look at the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight, Devin Haney got his ass whooped, right? Took a lot of punishment in that fight. And a lot of people didn't know if Devin Haney was ever going to be the same fighter. You know what I'm saying? He took a lot of damage in that Ryan Garcia fight, right? Now, it wasn't just the Osterine why Devin Haney lost that fight. We got to be honest. Devin Haney went into that fight with the wrong game plan. He underestimated Ryan Garcia, and a lot of that had to do with because all of the antics that Ryan Garcia was doing before the fight. You know, crashing out on Twitter, talking about a bunch of conspiracy theories, drinking alcohol, going to clubs during training camp and shit like that leading up to the fight. I think because of the antics, I think that Devin Haney underestimated Ryan Garcia. So Ryan Garcia missed weight, right? Came into the fight overweight. He looked much bigger than Devin Haney in that fight, right? Because he missed weight. So he was on the Osterine, came in overweight, and Devin Haney just basically stood in the middle of the ring and tried to have a slugfest with a knockout artist, right? And we all know what happened after that, right? So when a boxer takes that much punishment, bro, you just don't know if they're ever going to bounce back. And the Jose Ramirez fight, it made it look even worse. It made it look like Devin Haney still had PTSD from the Ryan Garcia fight. So that's why even the betting odds in Las Vegas and all that, like, they had Brian Norman Jr. as the favorite based off of Devin Haney's last two performances and Brian Norman Jr.'s last two performances. Brian Norman Jr., before he fought Devin Haney, he knocked out 3 straight opponents in a row. Even though those opponents were mid-level fighters, they weren't elite, you know, like in the sport of boxing, bro, let's just call it what it is. People love knockouts, bro. And the reason why so many people don't like Devin Haney is because of obviously his dad, Bill Haney, talks a lot of shit. But a lot of people just don't like Devin Haney's style, okay? People tend to like boxers that get knockouts. And unfortunately, that's not Devin Haney's style, okay? Devin Haney, he could have stopped Regis Prograis. He chose not to. He dropped Regis Prograis and ended up just dominating him the rest of the fight instead of knocking him out, right? Brian Norman Jr., he probably could have stopped Brian Norman Jr., but once he failed to knock out Brian Norman Jr. in the second round, he just decided to fight a very disciplined rest of the fight, and he just outboxed him for the rest of the fight. You know what I'm saying? And it was pissing me off watching the fight, y'all, because I was watching the fight. I felt like Devin Haney could have did so much more. He could have threw more jabs. He could have went to the body more. You know what I'm saying? He could have threw the left hook more. The left hook was there all night. The left hook was there all night for Devin Haney against Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. kept coming in with his head first. I'm like, bruh, throw that left hook, bruh. You already dropped him the first time. Throw the left hook again. But that's just not Devin Haney's style, bruh. Like, he's not going to force the knockout. You feel me? He'd rather just box you and coast to victory than get you up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So that's why so many people felt like Brian Norman Jr. was going to win this fight. Listen, I told people from the moment that this fight was announced, I said Devin Haney's going to do Brian Norman Jr. the same way he did Regis Prograis. And he did him worse, in my opinion. He did him worse, bruh. He broke Brian Norman Jr.'s nose. You know what I'm saying? Brian Norman Jr.'s eye was fucked up. Now, I did see the headbutt. Apparently, Brian Norman Jr.'s eye got fucked up because Devin Haney headbutted him. I did see the headbutt. But at the end of the day, bruh, when you look at Devin Haney's face after the fight, it looked like Devin Haney didn't even get punched one time, bruh. You know what I'm saying? He barely got hit the entire fight. The man's face was markless. You look at Brian Norman Jr.'s face, broken nose, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was getting touched up the entire fight, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, Devin Haney could have jabbed more. He could have threw the left hook more. And I think if Devin Haney was more aggressive, he could have knocked Brian Norman Jr. out. But you guys got to remember, Devin Haney doesn't want to put himself at risk of getting hit too much because he wants to have a long boxing career, bro. Like I said, bro, when you take the amount of damage that this man took when he fought Ryan Garcia, he's not going to risk taking punches that he doesn't need to take. That's just what it is because, listen, let's just call it what it is. When Devin Haney gets hit with a good shot, right, his legs buckle. Let's just call it what it is. Like, he doesn't have a chin like a Canelo Alvarez. He doesn't have a chin like a Gervonta Tank Davis. Let's just call it what it is, right? So, Devin Haney is not going to do too much and throw too many punches to where he opens himself up for his opponent to possibly knock him out. Because he already knows that if he does that, right? Like, let's say this, right? Let's say Devin Haney was more aggressive against Brian Norman Jr. and was throwing the left hook, right? Let's say Brian Norman Jr. caught Devin Haney with the left hook and Devin Haney got dropped or Devin Haney's legs buckled. What would they have said? Oh, Devin Haney's chinny. Devin Haney can't take a punch. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep it real, bruh. Going into this fight, y'all kept calling Devin Haney Pillow Fist Haney. Pillow Fist Haney dropped Brian Norman Jr. in the second round. Threw the left hook and then threw the 1-2. Dropped him with the right hand. You know what I'm saying? So to all of the people that said Devin Haney got pillow fist, hey, it's looking like Devin Haney at 147 is punching. You know what I'm saying? Like 147, Devin Debo Haney is different, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's why so many people felt how they felt. Listen, I can tell that a lot of people that was picking Brian Norman Jr., you guys didn't see Brian Norman Jr.'s fights. You probably seen the Jen Sasaki fight and that was it. When you look at his fight against Boca Chica dropped Brian Norman Jr., right? He was actually going to win that fight before the fight got stopped in the third round. When you look at the fight with Brian Norman Jr. and Quentin Randall was hitting Brian Norman Jr. all night, right? Norman Jr. ended up winning the fight by unanimous decision. But when you look at these two fights, y'all, it's obvious that Brian Norman Jr., he still has a lot to learn as far as his skill set. Brian Norman Jr. reminds me of Danny Garcia. He's very flat-footed, very stiff, and if he can't land that left hook, right, it's going to be a long night for him. And when you look at Danny Garcia's career at 147, once he stepped up his level of competition, once he fought Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and Errol Spence, he lost all three of those fights. And that's how I think Brian Norman Jr.'s career is going to play out. Right? He's going to look good against the mid-level fighters in the welterweight division. But when he steps up his level of competition, he's going to lose. I think Brian Norman Jr. could beat a Mario Barrios. I think Brian Norman Jr. could beat a Ryan Garcia that doesn't come in overweight on Osterman. I think so. But when he fights an elite skilled boxer like a Devin Haney, a Teofimo Lopez, even the Richardson Hitchens, he's gonna lose, bruh, because of the lack of skill. And I kept hearing Brian Norman Jr. say, you know, everybody keeps saying that I got flat feet and I got slow feet and all I can do is knock people out. And they gonna see that I can do everything. I didn't see that in this fight against Devin Haney. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all, bro. And maybe that's because when Brian Norman Jr. got dropped, maybe it's because he just lost all of his confidence. Because think about it, right? Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Sr., they were saying the whole lead up to this fight that Devin Haney can't take a punch. Devin Haney got pillow fists. He can't hurt you. So I think he really believed all of those things. And when Devin Haney put him on his ass, when Devin Haney threw that monstrous left hook and then threw the 1-2, dropped him with the right hand, I think Devin Debo Haney took Brian Norman Jr.'s soul Saturday night, bruh. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, bruh. Even though Brian Norman Jr. is only 25 years old, I don't think he'll ever be the same fighter, bruh. Because he got embarrassed at the highest level, bruh. When you spend an entire, like when you talk so much shit leading up to a fight like him and his father did, and then you lose how he lost, bruh, I don't think a fighter like that ever bounces back, bruh. I'm sorry, bruh. I don't think he's ever going to be the same, bro. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Brian Norman Jr. Shout out to Brian Norman Sr., man. You know what I'm saying? The best man won. And I told y'all niggas, bro. I said Devin Haney was going to beat Norman Jr. the same way he beat Regis Prograis. And he actually did a better job than I think he did against Regis Prograis. Even though he didn't throw as many punches, it was just a much more dominant fight in my opinion, man. So that's the video, man. It's your boy Wavy, Stay Wavy TV. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, share the video, leave a comment. I'm out.
Yeah, welcome to the vibe. Stay wavy in the mix, got the culture on the rise. Tap in, hit subscribe, ring that bell, let it ride. We gon' surf through the trends, give you game every time. Reviews, new views, keep it honest, never fake. If you're looking for the wave, this the channel you embrace. Stay